then television. The program continues and it's you decide. You're going to make a major decision right now because I have in the studio one of the youngest CEOs I've ever met who is going to turn around this whole world. You remember how WhatsApp turned the whole world around? I have all the way from South Africa, the CEO of BiNu going to tell us about Moya. Now, it looks like I'm speaking in tongues, but these tongues will be interpreted. I have in the studio Stephen Newton. Stephen, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, Stephen is going to tell us what is doing with this phone, because there is a particular app you may need to download which is going to revolutionize speaking to people in Africa and indeed all over the world, and you won't be paying a dime. Those of you in Nigeria, you normally load up data so that you can talk to the rest of the world. But now, whether you load up data or not, you will talk to anybody anywhere using Moya. It's Moya, isn't it?
It's Moya.
Moya. In Yoruba language, Moya means I turn. Moya, that's going to be a good advert,
Yes.
Now, Steve, tell us who you are, what you are doing with Moya.
Not a problem. Thank you, Shego.
Yeah.
My name is Stephen Newton. I am the CEO of BiNu, which is the parent company of an application called Moya, M-O-Y-A, Moya Messenger. As you mentioned, it has significance in the Yoruba tongue.
Yeah.
In Zulu, in South Africa, Moya means air. It means the air. So it's like when people call you on the phone, they actually use the vernacular, I'm going to call you through the air. Moya Messenger is a messaging app, just like WhatsApp, but there's one big difference, or two big differences. The first one is that for people in emerging markets where we work with mobile network operators, Moya is data free. So I want to make sure you understand, data free. If you have an active SIM card and that SIM card is usable, you can have zero balance on your SIM card and still message Moya. You can still send and receive messages. Right now, we are in South Africa, across all networks in South Africa. In Nigeria, we currently are on MTN, Airtel. We are working with Glo and Nine to get them on board within the next few months. So I know that in Nigeria, many people have many SIM cards, and most people at least have two, and one of those is probably an MTN SIM card. So if you use your MTN or Airtel card right now, you go to the Google Play Store, you download Moya. In fact, you can go to datafree.co and download Moya for free via our free website. You let someone here in UK or Europe know that they should download Moya as well on an Android phone. They can message you, you can message them. It will never touch your data balance. And on top of that, Shegun, we have put content into Moya.
Okay, what?
Things like Linda Akeji's website, things like the Vanguard, things like Pulse Nigeria, things like Goal, the football site, which is one of the most popular football sites across Africa.
You can watch for free, you can read for free.
You can read for free. Again, if you're on the MTN or Airtel networks in Nigeria, we'll soon be bringing on Glo and Nine. And that's Glo and Nine, you got to do it quickly because we're in talks.
Yeah, and with Nine, I always remember Etisalat, transformation to Etisalat. So, what do you want people to do right now? For instance, before we came on air, I was saying I use Apple phone.
Yes.
So what do I do?
Yes, right now we don't have an app for Apple. That will soon come. We focused on Android because, as you probably know, most of the population in Africa and emerging markets generally have an Android phone. We know that if we want the diaspora to talk to those back at home, we have to also address the Apple market.
So let's get it straight. Samsung,
Huawei,
they don't call it Huawei in Nigeria. You know what they call it?
What's that?
Huawei.
Well, Huawei. I heard they have lots of different names.
Huawei. So
Hawaii. I've heard lots of names.
Hawaii. So yes, and so what? Yes, you are also telling me how I can have a shortcut to that. Get a cheap. Get a cheap Android here. And then be talking to my friends in Nigeria. Yeah,
we know that when you're a part of the diaspora in Europe or the U.S., you do a lot of conversing with people back at home, and 9 out of 10 times is over a WhatsApp. And that's fine. WhatsApp's a great platform.
Yeah.
But the person back at home still must have credit. they still have to have a credit bundle to be able to discuss with you whatever it is you want to talk about on WhatsApp. What we're saying is that there's another way. This person can have zero credit. Auntie's back at home, your brother's back at home, mommy's back at home. Why should she have to go down to the shop or send the boy to go to the shop and get the little scratch off?
Middle of the night.
Right. On Moya, if they have a zero credit balance, they can still access it. It is data free.
Okay. Are you ready to take questions from our viewers?
I am.
In case they want. Please, if you are watching us and you have a question how this Moya works, whether it's going to cost you some money, and I'm sure you really don't want to be loading the car SIM card from here. We've seen many people even on adverts, mommy, can I load your SIM card from here? That's gone forever.
Exactly.
But at the moment, they have to be on MTN or
Airtel. And
well, you just tell your loved one, make sure you go on MTN for now, and Airtel, and yes, and you don't need to. And let me tell you something, it's very expensive to phone from Nigeria. Really, really expensive, because I do travel to Nigeria a lot, and I put in, for the first time, 3,000 naira and discuss with London on my WhatsApp. And within 30, 45 minutes or 3 or 4 times, it's gone. I have to reload and reload. And so it calls, they're going to be asking you questions. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for the questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Andrew, good morning. Hello, Andrew.
Is really a good application to hear. It doesn't work on analog phone in the sense that most Africans really do not have the capacity of having an iPhone or Android, especially in the rural community. So
Andrew, talk to us.
I hear. Able to have this facility on their mobile phone, and how does the company actually generate their revenue if, for example, they're basically giving all this thing out for free? Thank you.
Yeah, very good question, Andrew. So again, think about this as more of an alternative to WhatsApp. So this will work on any phone that also can use WhatsApp. So you're right. If you don't have a smartphone, you're not using data in the same way. You're not using WhatsApp. So this again looks at the alternative to WhatsApp. How do we make our money? It's reverse billing. Think of it almost like a 1-800 number, or here you would say an 0800 number. Yes, 0800 number. The company, the actual enterprise that is providing the content pays for the data. So what I didn't get a chance to speak about is within the app, there's messaging, but there's also an area called Discover. And that area is a place where you can access content, local content, things like Post Nigeria, things like Linda Ikeji, things like The Nation, The Guardian. Those publications over time will be the payers of the consumption of that data.
Okay. Andrew, are you okay? All right. Please keep your telephone calls coming. And if you want to email Stephen to ask him questions, you know the email address, nigeriansdecide@yahoo.com. And we'll be able to, I really want you to ask Stephen a lot of questions, because I cannot answer these questions. But one thing is for you to know the name of the app is Moya. And and you are not yet on 9 Mobile.
Not yet. So we're in late discussions, technical integration discussions with both 9 and with Glow. So we spoke to Mr. Adenuga's team at Glow, and I'm not sure who's running the ship at 9 right now. You know, but I remember Hakeem used to be there.
But got leadership changes.
But we are in there. We're talking with them. It's all about technical implementation now. But as I said, my time in Nigeria has shown me that most people, if they're sitting here on a desk, there's more than one phone sitting there. There's two phones at least.
Minimum.
Minimum. And people tend to have an MTN SIM, if nothing, or an Airtel SIM. And it's not very hard to get one, if not.
You can one change easily, you know, because it's like, I'm going to be honest with you. I have a phone for Nigeria when I go, but unfortunately I have 9 Mobile on it. But now I subscribe to 9 Mobile, but it's nothing sacrosanct. That is, I'm ready to change because there's nothing no umbilical cord, you know. So I changed to MTN now as soon as I get to Nigeria. I hope I can still retain my number. and retain that number so that I'll phone London free.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I think
yes.
that's the most important thing, to phone London free, because I can tell you, phoning from Nigeria is so expensive.
I need to make one thing clear.
Yeah.
So we do allow messaging for free.
Okay.
Phone calls on Moya are not for free, not yet.
Okay.
And if you think about
Okay.
the evolving of WhatsApp, WhatsApp also started with text messaging.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
when WhatsApp was acquired by Facebook, an uncle with very deep pockets, then of course you could do phone calls and video calls as well. So texting
So
is
now texting is the one that is free. Okay.
Yes,
All
if
right.
you want to
Because-
send an attachment, it will say this will cost you data. It will warn you. For
Okay.
anything that is not free, it will tell you.
Okay. So what is free is the texting.
Texting and
Yeah.
browsing the content and Discover. So I can look at articles, as I said, Goal, which is one of the biggest football sites in the world. I
Yeah.
can look at Goal, look at my fixtures, look at the articles. I can look at articles from popular newspapers. We have health information, educational information. All of that is data free. If you ever touch anything
Yeah.
that is not data free in Moya, it will warn you beforehand and ask, would you like to continue?
Now, for example, if I want to telephone from Nigeria wanting to use Moya, what's the rate? Is the rate competitive, or is even better than what we have at the moment?
No, if you were going to use any type of voice messaging
Yeah.
on Moya,
Yeah.
you will use the rate that you would use normally in your country. We have not any special rates for that. We are focused on text at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Voice will come.
Okay.
Sending videos and files will come, but if you could imagine, that costs a lot of money, and
Yeah.
if it's reverse billed, it's costing that publisher a lot of money. That will come. Right now, Moya is about text and about discovering the content.
And who can complain about free text? I mean, especially when it is international. I know that in Nigeria, texting within the country, I think is about 40p or something very low.
Yes,
But
yes.
when you text abroad, because those of us who live here and then go to Nigeria, when you text from Nigeria, it's a lot of money.
Yes, yes.
And so everybody, I mean, you can imagine the amount of costs that will generate.
Yeah, the savings. We're saying if you're going to a message, which is what most people are doing,
Yeah.
more so than speaking,
Yeah.
message on Moya with your family back at home from the diaspora. You here in the UK, you're probably on a plan, so you pay X amount per month regardless. But the person in Nigeria will appreciate the cost savings. That money can go towards something else.
Okay, you have one fan here.
All right.
Because they do email or they'll call. Please feel free to call 121 now, because after he has left, I can't answer questions for him. But I have this one from Tammy. It says, "Good morning, Dr. Johnson. Moya is a good mobile app. As you chat, you can learn also, but you've got to have your mobile data on. It's very nice. Let's patronize our own." Now, it says, as you chat, you can learn. What does that mean?
He's speaking about, thank you, Tommy, by the way. He's speaking about the Discover section I spoke to you about.
Oh, okay.
So we have the messaging app, but we also have a section called Discover. And just to give you a bit of insight, you and I, you have your iPhone, I have my, as you said, Huawei. We have a lot of data. We have a lot of memory on our phones. The average consumer in emerging markets doesn't download apps for 3 specific reasons. Number 1, it costs money to download your app. You can download Moya data-free at datafree.co. So there's that one knocked on the head. Number 2, when I download your app, I get the sneaky suspicion it's chopping my money in the background. This is in emerging markets. I've just put on X number of Naira. Next thing you know, my money is gone. Where did it go? So number 3, I don't download your app because I don't have a lot of space on my phone. I have pictures that I have. Downloading your app may mean that I have to delete something that I love. So what we said was, okay, let's make this easy. Messaging is number 1. You want messaging? We have a messenger. But we also give you a place where other publishers, other content producers can put their app inside of our app. And it takes little to no space on your phone. So that's what Tommy's referring to. If you download the app, there's a section called Discover.
He also says something. Before I go there, there's a caller. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Hello, Paul.
Hi. How do we, I want to ask a question. How do we provide our content to your application?
Good question. You can email me
And
at...
can we have the facility of not having multiple ports on, unlike WhatsApp?
I didn't hear the second part of the question, Paul.
What's the second part of the question?
Hello?
Yeah. Say the second question again, please.
The second question is, can you have the facility of not having multiple ports on, unlike WhatsApp?
Right. Okay, so the first question was, how can you promote your content? Feel free to send me an email at Stephen, STEPHEN, .Newton, like Isaac Newton, NEWTON, at bi.nu. And your question about security, we have end-to-end encryption, just like WhatsApp and most messaging platforms. In fact, our platform was built on a technology similar to the platform that WhatsApp was built upon. So security is taken care of, and of course we comply to any privacy rights.
Okay. Paul, I hope that answers the question. There is a second part to this from Tammy. It says, but you've got to have your own mobile data. What does that mean?
What he means is that you have to have an active SIM card. So again, if you have a zero balance on your phone of data, this again is for people in emerging markets who are on pay-as-you-go mostly, Moya will still work. However, if you have an inactive SIM, Moya does not work. So Moya, we depend on our relationships with the mobile network operators.
Okay.
So if your phone cannot talk to the mobile network operator, the MTNs, the Glows, the Airtels, the 9 mobiles, then we can't help you. You just have to have an active SIM. That's all.
Oh, but that makes sense. Get ₦5 on your account and start talking for or start using as long as you. Okay. So how do we get our relatives to download in Nigeria? Because I know we are watched in parts of Nigeria, we are watched parts of Africa, of course, we are watched all over Europe.
Yes.
And many people are watching us by way of their phone and their website. But the first thing is first of all, for us to download here. And then we have to tell our friends in Nigeria.
That's right.
So how best is it to inform them? Just to tell them, look for Moya.
So the first thing, I will forgive you for using WhatsApp to do that, first and foremost. But also, we're doing a lot of promotions in Nigeria. So I'm in Nigeria quite often.
Okay.
I try to be in Nigeria at least a few days every month. And I have quite a good network of people there that I know quite well as well. So we'll start the promotion machine in Nigeria quite soon. And the only fear is that, just going Lagos alone, if you promote this, the chances of it really exploding quickly are tremendous.
I'm told that there are 100 million active mobile phones in Nigeria.
I would not even, just like the population, it's so hard to, it's so hard to even to know. Although that information is a bit more reliable because we know the mobile network operators. And as you know, they have to RICA everyone. We've had issues in the past with MTN, where they didn't do that. So they have to RICA everyone. So that's probably even an understatement, I would say.
Okay, so keep your questions coming, and you can email me at nigeriansdecide@yahoo.com. So that's Stephen of BiNu company.
Yes.
How did you arrive at the name?
BiNu. We have all these romantic ways of looking at it, but the company has been around for quite a while.
Okay.
And it used to work with feature phones and short codes. And we wanted 2468 to be the short code.
2468,
Yes, and the only word that we can come up with those numbers was BiNu. And then we checked around to see was it offensive in any places. But in Sardinia, I believe BiNu means wine. It's like BiNu, like vine, like winu. Yeah. But they say the B with a V. Anyway, it wasn't that deep.
Well, BiNu, I don't want to be using, because it may mean different things, but not that offensive in Nigeria. Yeah.
What is the exact meaning again?
In Yoruba? Yes. Well, if you call it BiNu, then it's a different thing. BiNu means angry.
Angry. Yes, that's right.
Angry.
Yes.
But no,
Well, you can be
it's
angry,
BiNu.
angry about data costs.
Yes, angry about data costs and BiNu, and Moya is iTunes.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
I think it's going to work in Nigeria because Nigerians, even we who live here, when we go to Nigeria, we spend a lot of money
Yes, yes.
texting across.
Yes.
You want to text your wife, your children, and your friends, your business colleagues. It takes a lot of money. So what happens is that we diasporas go to our separate countries in Africa and we text a little, and business may be going down here. So this will now tell us: is it possible to use Moya in groups and things like that?
Yes. So in our chat section, our messaging section, we can chat peer to peer, so one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one.
But I can also create group chats. And unlike WhatsApp, what we do is we separate them. We have a tab for one-on-one chats, and we have a separate tab for group chats, so that it doesn't get confusing. Like my WhatsApp, I get so many group messages.
Yeah.
It kind of clutters up my inbox.
Oh, okay. I get
So
your
yes,
point.
you can do
So one-on-one will be on a different
tab. It's just a different tab on the screen.
Oh, yeah. And then the group one on it. Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
Why is WhatsApp not thinking that way?
I don't
because
know.
it's like they mix everything, and then
Yes.
we have to be sorting it out. And the questions are still coming in, and I hope because it's going from one group to another group, and once you've read it. But then you can get the same message.
Yes.
So it looks like, politicians will reason like this. When you look at 40, 50 years ago, only one news item a day. But today, because we have news channels, the same news that happen at 8 a.m., you hear it 9 a.m., 10 a.m., until 10 p.m.
Yes.
The same news. So it looks like it's just happening,
You end up dreaming about it.
you end up dreaming it, and then if you don't like the people involved, then you start. But he's trying to say, how do we prevent this one happening?
Yeah, that's a great question. The simple answer is that through technology, we could solve all these things. Have we addressed that one? We have not. But I heard you say
some money, wouldn't it?
It is. He said he's copywriting it, so that's good. you should do so. But we have not addressed it, but that is a very, very, very interesting problem to solve. So we will keep it in mind.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It's brought in by Cyril. Cyril is asking you, Stephen, can you prevent criminals from abusing this application?
That's a good question as well. That's about how long is a piece of string. Criminals are very adept at constantly changing. I think security protocols are usually being tested by criminals on a daily, if not hourly, minute basis.
That's correct.
So we adhere to all of the internationally recognized security protocols. Does that mean that things don't happen sometimes? Well, I would be a liar if I said things don't happen sometimes. We've seen it in all sorts of platforms.
I think someone is being asked to pay £183 million. Was that BA or one big organization? That was yesterday.
Wow.
They were asked to pay the highest amount of money paid for loss of data.
For loss of data.
Yeah, for loss of data.
These things do occur,
Yeah.
and it keeps companies like our company and much bigger companies on their toes. So is it possible? We all know it's possible. Do we adhere to the strictest security regulations that are currently available? Yes. And as newer ones become available, we will adhere to those as well.
Okay, yeah, because it's very important, data protection.
Yes,
and like
very
you
important.
rightly said, people are just breaking into all these things, and it's got to be the best technology that we handle. I don't know how some people will just sit down in their room and be thinking, how do I hack into this? How do I hack into this? But I think the knowledge is too much outside.
Yeah, as smart as you are as an organization, there's someone out there who can figure out how to break your code. You have to continually iterate and make it stronger and stronger. In fact, some organizations end up hiring some of those individuals to help them understand how to secure their systems.
I think we've watched a film like that before.
I'm sure a few.
Where they had to engage the what was that one? I think it was by Leonardo.
There was one called Hackers.
Yeah, Hackers. That's one by DiCaprio as well.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's fantastic having you.
Thank you,
and we want to have you as soon as possible to see how everyone is doing. But for those of you who are like me, you don't have Apple phone, get one scrappy Android so that you can be talking to people all over the world, and I mean texting free of charge, reading things, so it's possible. It's possible. My wife uses Samsung, so that wouldn't be a problem for me.
So she can download Moya, and again, you can go to the Google Play Store. It's called Moya, Moya Messenger, or if you're in Nigeria and on Airtel or MTN, you could visit our URL, our website, www.datafree.co, and you can download the app free.
Free. The word free. Oh,
free.
That's it on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it on the screen. For those of you in Nigeria watching us, download it free. And I promise, when next I go to Nigeria, I'm gonna change my SIM card to MTN so that I can be texting London free as long as I'm there.
Yes.
And it's nice having you on the show.
Thank you.
And thank you. And we'll be looking forward to you, improving on what our caller has said to bring it about, so that we only see one message at a time forever.
Yes.
Not every group now posting it around and. All right. So thank you very much. Is there a way you stop? Obnoxious texts? That is, do you, like Facebook has been asked to do? There is an obnoxious text that should not be circulated. Can you stop it?
You can stop users from contacting you, so you can block a particular person. You may have that friend who went off the rails. It happens sometimes. Right?
It does happen.
So if you want to block a person, you can do that. You can also report obnoxious content, and that will give us the opportunity to investigate and decide whether we want to remove that person from the application.
All right. What part of South Africa do you reside in?
I live in Johannesburg now.
Oh, okay.
I've lived in Cape Town as well. I've been there for 11 years, but as I said, I spent a lot of time throughout the continent. South Africa's the home base, but I lived in Niger, in Lagos for 5 months.
Wow.
Eko Onibaje.
Eko Onibaje. Look, when you reside in Lagos, don't tell me, but when you go back to Johannesburg, do tell me. I'll come give you a visit.
All right.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And Moya, don't forget, his name is Stephen Moya.
Stephen Newton. Thank you.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back to talk about the senator who slapped someone, and someone wanted to slap the senator. The senator will not allow that senator himself to be slapped. And the woman wants to slap the senator, but don't go away. We'll be right back.